Alright. Let's get this show on the road. Let's make sure I can hear myself before I do anything else. Yeah, I can hear myself. Oh, lovely. Alright, so it's about 30 trillion degrees here. And I figured what better time to go back to what I was doing before, which was grounded.
You cool?
Yeah. Focusing on,
let's go find that radio.
You know, strats basically. Hello, Mr. Crab. Oh, he disappeared.
Hey, maybe we can find something in that boat over there.
I think when I did my first video, I also got a little bit caught up in just playing, but
way ahead of you, kid.
If I don't do an alternate strat, I'll definitely I'll try to describe it. Most of these, you know, scenarios, there's usually at least 2 things you can do, although there's a few where that's not the case. Obviously, not speedrunning. Speedrunning, I think, is a slightly different animal when it comes to what you can and cannot do.
Whoa.
What?
We also get to see how long it's been since I've
it's a little bit
played on something that wasn't Plus because I forgot to grab the toolbox in Pittsburgh. Discovered the second spawn spot for it, which I was unaware of. Oh, for there to be alcohol there, but no. Get out of the way, Henry.
Oh. All right, same time. Come on.
All right,
let's do it.
It's a complaint I think I bring up every time I play this game, but I really just like how through Billstown, it's hold triangle, you get to Pittsburgh, suddenly it's tap triangle. You know, pick one.
Right, you go in. Okay.
Personally, I prefer hold, just because it's easier on my wrists, but either way, consistency I think would have been a better choice than using both. Interesting and Left Behind, they go back to hold triangle. Wonder if that's a sign of what's to come in the second game, or just not at all.
Which way?
Picking up pretty much everything that I feasibly can. That's what I do when I play Grounded. It makes your life easier. Well, there's not a huge amount of things to pick up, obviously, but you might as well do yourself a favor and grab everything that you can. If I'm too quiet, by the way, just tell me. I have a tendency to let my voice trail off after a while, so.
That is a big rat.
Commentary's not much use if you can't hear it. Alright. I've got a co-pilot. It's not much use for advice, but he's here. Come on, Ellie. You can do it. It's funny, it's been long enough since I played Grounded that I don't always remember what is or isn't in these places. Oh, let's make sure I pick up. I can get a little bit blasé on holding the button to pick up everything, and you just think you've grabbed it all, and you know, you go forward and realize you missed something. So if I'm doing something like this, I do try to sort of take a peek back if I'm not 100% sure to make sure I grabbed whatever it was I wanted to grab. So there's a little trick you can do here to get the stuff in the area with the clickers without having to fight them. It's not really a glitch. It's just using the way the game despawns.
Henry, give it a shot.
Most of the areas where there's a point where you're sort of transitioning from point A to point B, where things despawn, there's no way to go back. But this is one of the places where you can actually, if you're quick about it, go back. And the goodies are still there, but the enemies are not. One place where you can do this where it's totally useless is the where you're running from the military early in the game. When you go through the sewer pipe or drainage pipe, I should say. Once Ellie and Tess have gone through, you can go back under and all the military guys will despawn, but there's really nothing to get there that you need. Just like bricks and bottles. So I alert them there. Have to do that, but I do that so that I can sprint all the way to the doors up here. And you'll know when they've disappeared, when Joel stops sprinting, basically.
Oh.
And that happens after we open the door. But until then, they'll just sort of creep and croak over there.
Oh, there you go.
I'm skipping the dependent over in the water there, obviously.
I can't wait to
I do have a collectibles run. It was supposed to be a pick up everything run, but since I did that, I discovered there were pills in the university that I was unaware of right near the beginning, and blades in that scenario I was just mentioning with the military that you can pick up that I was also unaware of because go to that side. Other than that, though, I think I'm good. If I remember, I'll put that in the video description as well. Alright. Not a whole lot in here. Except, really, like, this is the most important thing. You miss this here. You have to get it in the clicker room. I don't think you can get it after that. I don't want to swear to that because I'm not 100% perfect, 100% sure because it's been quite a while since I tested that. But so this is what you do: you just turn around before the kids come through the door. Once they come through the door will shut. But as you can see, because I'm not running, the clickers have despawned. This basically gets us parts and was it parts, pills? I'm trying to remember if there's pills in there. There's definitely parts. I think there's a rag.
Yeah.
Something else. We'll find out in a second. All you're really losing by doing this is time. And I'm not in a particular hurry, so... Parts, health I don't need. And, explosives. This really is only here for if you fight the clickers. Because you get all your health back when this area starts, and this is the first potential encounter. So, as optional health goes, it's pretty useless. Like in Grounded, you should never really be fighting those clickers anyway. Like you can, but it's a waste of resources. Even if you're doing it slow and steady like I am. Alright. So yeah, I mean, you can just be like, well, what do I need? A little bit of explosive and parts for, but... upgrading guns, I think, matters more in Grounded, really, than it does in any other difficulty. Well, maybe Survivor. I've never played that, so... But in general, I think it matters more. You can wait to pick up this gun, but... I don't think there's really a good reason to do so. Oh, I have to remember, I haven't done this fight on Grounded in forever.
Awesome.
There's a way, it's easier to do on lower difficulties. There's a way, though, to get Henry and Ellie to kill all the enemies that are coming up, but... let me just think about what I want to do here.
Let's keep it down, bud. Okay.
The strategy I have been using lately is, you shorty this guy, run up there, and then Molotov the three enemies as they come around the corner. A lot of fun, really easy to do, it's really fast. The thing is, I don't know that I really want to use a Molotov here. So I need to do something else. The question is, what is the something else? I'm gonna see, it's always risky to do, but I'm gonna see if I can get Henry and Ellie to help me out here. I've probably posted a video with them doing that, but I'm not 100% sure. Because of that, I'm not going to do the starting counter. If I don't like how this goes, I'll change it and do it. The other nice thing about doing this, you can only back out this area the first time you go in. If I die or I don't like how it goes and it resets, this gate closes. So pretty much the way this works is you hide back here. The principal difference, this takes forever no matter what the difficulty, but the principal difference is the odds of someone getting a plus sign are much higher on grounded than they would be on anything else. So that's the, I want to say the risk, but that's a risk too. Really neat, actually, I'm a little bit sorry I did that now. I believe I get, I think I'll get shorty ammo somewhere. If I don't, this is a bad decision. But we'll see. Oh, oh, he didn't drop it. Look at this nonsense. Oh, he killed him. They only dropped revolver bullets, so that sucks.
Seeing how there was a clicker, they've been gone for a while.
We keep moving forward. All we can do is hope there aren't any more.
Well, I think there's nothing in here ungrounded, if I remember right, except for the collectible. The reason that's a pain in the ass is I want just something for getting through the clicker room, but at the end of the day, if I need to go for anything, at the end of the day, like, there are ways around it. It's just less optimal. It's health here on lower difficulties. I do. Oh, I didn't want the sheet, but I do want the pills. Sadly, no machete for me to grab up here. I guess I could. And one thing Ant's really good at is hitting clickers while they're spazzing out. That is not something I'm particularly good at. Well, we'll see how this goes. This might be a couple of attempts. I mean, it's a rough strategy no matter what, but just because I don't have an easy one-shot kill
Hey, you think that
on
leads out?
the clicker, I think I'm gonna have to brick him basically and run by him, or brick him, brick back. Well, we'll see how that works. Worst comes to worst. I was going to say go back, but I don't have to go back all the way to
triggered some kind of safety game or something.
Henry's putting us up with this coffee. I have no one to blame but myself, though, so them's the breaks.
This is awkward.
Yeah, I know. It's like every time.
Clickers!
There are ways to stealth this on ground. Should I show you guys
You stay
that?
close to him.
Let me just think if I need the bow for anything.
You keep him safe. Go.
I think I need it for. I need it in winter, and I need it for the tunnel. Although I think I can do the tunnel with just one arrow.
You're gonna be fine.
It's tricky to do this on grounded, but it's actually
See if we
maybe
can
it's
find a way
something
out of here.
be fun for people to watch. There's a good chance I'll die a number of times doing this because this is really hard to pull off. The benefit to do shit, how am I gonna kill the clickers? Well, one problem at a time. The benefit to doing this is you get all the stuff in here. Sadly, there's actually
Stay
not
behind me.
a lot of stuff in
If
here.
I run, you run.
Yeah.
Oh shit, she's over there. And I missed. Okay. As I said, I'll probably have to do this a few times. If I get frustrated, I'll do it the usual way. Yeah, you have to be super patient doing this. It's almost like crab walking for clickers, basically. But of course they can see. Got her. So, of the stalkers here, the first two are the hardest. Oh, I think I'm screwed. Oh my god. I'm so lucky I did not get seen there. Extremely, extremely lucky. I'm picking up nothing they drop right now, because they will drop more. This is a tense thing to do. Oh, that's why. Fuck. You can shoot her with the bow, obviously. But we're trying to avoid ammo. And it is possible to grab her. I either got too close, or I wasn't moving slowly enough. I'm trying to remember when I last did this. Probably before Christmas, that's going to be my guess. You cannot crab walk full speed with these guys. Oh my god. I hit the unupgraded bow. I'm also being really careful with shots because I don't really want to miss. You can't walk through, by the way. You can't walk at all through here if you don't alert. If you are standing up, the clickers are automatically alerted, and then the stalkers will be alerted very quickly after that. Lots of practice went into doing this the correct way. But it's still really easy to fuck up. Fun when it works, I guess. You're just using a lot of arrows. That's honestly, how did that miss? I can see why Ank rages so much with the reticle. Alright, let's see if I can do this properly. Look at this, I'm like an old man. Itsy bitsy spider. Got her. Oh, hey, Elendil, how you doing? Oh my god, yeah, it's terrible. When it's upgraded, it's fantastic. Before it's upgraded, it's like, honestly, it's the worst thing ever. It's got this weird droop. Ugh, it's just aggravating. How are you doing? I was watching Ant play factions last night and reminded me of you, although I imagine you haven't had a lot of time to play factions. Alright. I should pick up this stuff later, but what are you gonna do? You can, by the way, you can see the outline of the shiv you can get there on lower difficulties, but it ain't there on Grounded. Grounded is not sympathetic to your problems. I hate these things so much on this difficulty, at least if you're doing it this way. Even on Grounded Plus, this is effing annoying. But I go through these pains for you the viewer. I wanted her to poop out some stuff, but no. If I do the strat on a lower difficulty, I actually use more arrows, and I'm gonna have to bow this chick anyway, but I take the shot from a lot further away. I want to peek for... Oh, shit. This is my least favorite shot to make. Okay. So we're down to clickers. The whole key of this strategy is don't alert people so that more stalkers spawn. That's the idea. The good thing is, there's the alternative box. Good thing is the clickers are not the most aware dudes. Like, look at this, ungrounded. I guess the only thing in here was the toolbox. I thought there was something else, but apparently that's just wishful thinking. So before I deal with the clickers, and you only I think I might get away with only killing one of them, but they're a lot easier to move around. Like, it's a lot easier to move around. Alright, I strangled you. Arrow, shorty, nice. Arrow? Yeah, arrow, nice. Yeah, I mean, you don't really, like, if you're not playing on this difficulty, you don't have to, honestly, you don't have to upgrade much of anything if you don't want to. It's not that big a deal. I'm pretty good. It's like 1 billion degrees in here, so that I'm not super fond of, but otherwise, pretty good. It's been quite a while since I played Grounded, so. Oh, did you? Yeah, I played once in the last 8-10 months, something like that. Hey, AK, how's it going? Yeah. I modded you 1,000,000 years ago, AK. You just don't remember. I was probably like not a year ago, but pretty close. Now, do I remember what's near this clicker? Ungrounded, and the answer is no, I do not. Is he protecting stuff? I don't think he is. Doesn't look like it. I could shoot him in the head with the bow, but I really don't want to. There we go. Pretty good, other than sweltering. It's like 36 degrees here, I think, plus there's humidity, so it's basically just gross. Yes, AK has powers. Look at this dude. Oh, I got my arrow back. That's a blessing. Let me just think what I need for up ahead. Sniper. I don't really need much of anything, but I don't need the shorty out. And I definitely don't need the bow out. So the usual way to, like, normally, when I came in here, I didn't have any shotgun ammo or short ammo. So normally you would just race through here, brick the clicker up at the top of the ramp, run over here, you know, grab the stairway, hope Sam didn't fuck you up, and run through. But you don't get your stuff. And it's really just like, it's 15 seconds, and either you get good RNG or bad RNG, and so it works or it doesn't. It's not. It's really, really simple, but it's not the most fun or challenging.
Good job, kid.
Yeah, it's gross. It is gross. Although my cats don't give a shit. This is all gravy for them.
Joel, that's them.
Oh, thank God. We gotta keep running it.
I'll show you guys something. You may have seen this before, but if not, I'll show it to you. It's a really funny thing I discovered a little while ago. Okay.
Ellie,
So,
get away from the door.
I'm gonna do nothing as Joel.
Maybe we push it together.
Let's watch. Just chilling. Screw you, Henry. I'm not pushing against you, okay? Ellie dies. Boom. Alright, so that's Joel doing nothing. That's what you get. Ellie immediately dies. Nothing we can do.
Maybe we push it together.
Yeah, I'm not hitting square at all. I hit triangle. My hands are off the controller.
He just crawled through.
He what?
There you go. I could now sit here for the next 30 minutes, leaving Joel standing like this, and nothing will break through the door. That always cracked me up. Basically, you hit triangle, and all your problems are over. 20, I can deal with 20 a little. It just depends. Like, humidity is what gets me. Normally, anyway, as much as the temperature. Although, today the temperature is also just ridiculous. Alright, got a free molly. This is where the shorty would be if you didn't pick it up earlier. So, I have 2 smoke bombs. There's a trick you can use in Pittsburgh to get a second smoke bomb. You can't throw things through that window, by the way. I've tried.
Open it from the other side.
Make it
So
fast.
these are both like basically free things. You should only need one of these to do this thing, the strat. But
Come on, go.
if you're nervous or don't give a fuck about smoke bombs, you can use 2. One thing you do have to be careful about, though, when you're screwing around over here is if you get too close, Henry will come over and fight, and that kind of fucks you up. And if you kill one, there's a chance a guy will spawn there. If you kill them all, a guy will definitely spawn over there. Really? Oh, that's so cool, AK. I've never heard that dialogue. How'd you get that? Okay, this did not go as planned. There we go. I took damage. That's bad.
Go, go.
Elendil, there definitely are people. I don't know if Brenda and Skylar still do. If they do, they don't stream it.
Fresh air.
I haven't asked, so I don't know. Jay still does. Ant still does. AK still does.
Fucking kidding me?
Trying to think of other people I know. Christian still does.
Side, guys.
So where's this tower?
I don't know if Free Tree does anymore or not.
close.
Trying to think.
Come on, let's go.
So yeah, there are people who do. I think Supreme does occasionally as well. I don't know how regularly people play.
Hey, how you doing, little man?
I'm not sure.
This one, huh? Yeah.
Like I guess one way to put it is I don't know how many people have like permanently quit. Just the frequency people play has changed quite a bit, I would say.
Hey, look at that.
That would be
Yep. What I tell
pretty
you.
much what I can say there. But I mean, I stopped playing and I stopped watching for a while
How
too.
you holding up?
They fixed my healing glitch, which made me sad.
When I was with Henry.
It's still a pretty small, self-contained group of people for sure, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are people out there. Is that all just a rag in here? I think I want to craft. Oh, I see. So you killed everything and then... Okay. Well, that's interesting, AK. Yeah, I haven't heard that dialogue. There was, a piece of, I think...
Pretty intense back then.
Oh, yeah.
What was it? Ellie dialogue that I heard,
Oh,
not long ago that I'd never heard before.
a friend
And
of mine.
it's clearly just, one of those things where it can crop up or it might not. That was pretty cool. Yeah, well, yeah, that's, I mean, yeah, again, people on factions are interesting adults, or kids. So nothing in there, as there are on lower difficulties, are up there, which is somewhat sad, but... Oh, how you go through this, by the way, if you ever want a conversation, I think both of you guys had this platinum, but if you want to get the conversations, there's like a totally specific way you have to walk through all this stuff.
What is this?
Oh.
Yeah, it's just like...
Ice cream truck?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really do think that I wish the game had a
No way.
an overseer, like a truly competitive system, where just because it would filter out the shitty players and the people who do stupid stuff. Not completely, but there'd just be less of it. I used to watch a lot of StarCraft, and I mean, yeah, there are morons there too, but a lot of it's filtered out by skill. Oddly enough, people who suck generally don't say stupid things as much, and then, you know, again, people who are good, well, you better perform consistently good if you're gonna mouth off. So, but sadly, there's really nothing like that because Naughty Dog doesn't want to put. You have to invest a lot of money to do something like that. I don't think Naughty Dog is interested. Although I was telling Lendl, AK, I was watching Ant play last night briefly.
Be careful.
And it was just sort of funny to see, even though I didn't recognize, I used to recognize all the names. I didn't recognize all the names anymore, but it was funny to see the exact same things I remember. Bizarre matchmaking, and then just like the usual sort of behavior you'd expect from people. It's like, oh, I'm winning, okay, I'm gonna act like a jackass. Oh, I'm losing, better leave before the game ends. Oh, you didn't? Yeah, the that's funny, Lendl, because the only thing I don't have are the multiplayer things. Yeah, I'd like to think so too. I mean, multiplayer is just a great way for companies to just bank money, right? So I'd expect they put some effort into it. I know they fixed a lot of the glitches about a month or two ago, which made me realize, yes, they are definitively working on that part of things. Hey, Christian, how's it going? Oh, no. Oh, you had the mic open, AK? No. No. I don't know how you guys have the mics open for that. I don't want to know what the people are saying, because I have a pretty damn good idea what the people are saying. Give me that, Ellie.
Thank you.
It's just like terrible mics, terrible, commentary and whatever else. It's just, ugh.
All right.
Well, good for you, yeah. Tell them how it is. Right. So when I play Grounded, the rifle is like the priority to upgrade. It's my favorite gun in this. Once the El Diablo shows up as well, it's another good one. And only for this difficulty do I ever upgrade the revolver, because the revolver is such a good gun on Grounded. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's so weird. I suppose though, for like sociologists, it's a great microcosm of how people behave when there's no accountability and they're in some sort of competitive scenario. You know, that impacts their ego to a significant extent. Like, and you get to sort of see how people are, and it's interesting because it's not everybody. It's just that the people who suck just make the strongest impression.
Get out!
You know, because there's like
Sniper. Did you see where Kate is?
there's nothing inherently wrong with either being a bad player or whatever,
Stay here.
but like behavior is
Before
something
you
everyone
start,
has control
I
over,
need you guys to
and
keep
it's just
them
funny.
busy.
It's like, well, this is anonymous, so I can act how I want to act,
if I can't get
and
the
there's always someone out there who really wants to be a jackass. It's just like, and the funny thing is to me too is because there's no real league or tiers of division in this game. Your accomplishments actually don't mean anything other than to yourself. Like there's nothing arbitrating. You know, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. I might die here, by the way. It's been a while since I've done this ungrounded. Oh my god. Okay, I'm fucked now. You gotta make that shot right away. Shotgun guy's probably gonna shoot me in the back. Or I'll get sniped. Yep, got me. There's a second way to do this too. No. GNA? What is... Okay, what is GNA? I should know. I don't remember. You gotta tell me what that is. I don't recognize the acronym. Maybe I'll do this the other way. So the running thing is an ant thing.
Oh, there you are.
There's a second way to do it. I'll show it to you. One thing is it uses rifle ammo, and I'm loath to use rifle ammo.
Get him, boys!
Nope, I shouldn't take steps there.
Get him, boys!
It's the problem when you play lower difficulties for all. You forget what you need to do. Actually, you know what? I don't want to. It's been a long time. I forgot I used the revolver there, not the rifle. Although I could afford to use a bullet or two.
So, where was it you were going?
I'm going this way, sniper boy. Yep.
Get him, boys! Get him, boys!
It's always so hard for me to see this back. Oh, he's hiding. Where is he? Normally he... Yeah, there he is. I'm trying to... do I want to kill this guy? I mean, why not? There's no real benefit to killing this guy. I just kind of feel like it. Oh, see, AK? Hey, you gotta work, right? There's interesting RNG... Well, interesting. I suppose that's a matter of perspective. There's interesting RNG, though, to me about what dude you get in this house. On lower difficulties, it's always the same guy. It's not that guy. On grounded, though, it actually rotates between dudes. There's different dudes you can get there. And if you're going to ask me, does it make a tangible difference for anything? No. I do like my free Molotov there. Alright, I really want to see... there are parts I would like to get.
I see you!
I know you see me. Good for you. I don't know if I can do this ungrounded. I'm going to try it, though. Yeah, enjoy work, AK. I'm probably going to die here, Orlando, but I want to see if this is doable. So I've never tried it. What the fudge? Okay. Don't do what I'm doing. This is not what you do, folks. This is the way to die.
Pick over here. Fan out.
Oh, shit!
I'm just greedy for stuff. I can't help it. I mean, I guess I probably could help it. I'm choosing not to. If I get away with this, I'm gonna laugh, because I've never tried that before. Ooh, it does work. Alright, so that risk got me parts, which are nice, and some extra explosive, which is nice too. Oh yeah, like, the normal way I'm grounded to do it is actually just run. If you do the route right, don't have any major snafus, it's pretty straightforward. You don't have to kill anyone, you're not spending any resources. I hate this fight, by the way. It's not that it's particularly hard, I just find it kind of tedious. But you don't get any stuff, and I'm a fan of stuff. I used to remember the order of this, but I don't really know. Oh, come on, buddy, don't hide behind the wood pile. There we go. Right in the balls. I mean, I don't know that would kill you, but it couldn't feel very good. Ball shot. Now you'd think these guys, like, one thing I know for sure we're gonna see in Last of Us 2 is more consistent AI behavior. And that's gonna be nice. Anyone left, or are we done to the truck? Oh, no. Gotcha. What the hell's Henry shooting at, too? It looks like he's shooting a fence. Oh, yeah. And factions, Elendil. This is a great weapon. Though I hate the weapon sway on it. But, so it's not like I hate the principle of this. I just feel like this fight goes on too long. Like, do I really need to shoot 30,000 people from here? You know, and the risk isn't to me. The risk is to, my companions. And, I mean, well, there's nothing nothing inherently wrong with that. It's just like... I don't know. It just doesn't seem as threatening as I think it's meant to. Oh, I missed that guy. Yeah, let's shoot this dude before he kills me. Ah! Through the window. That guy froze. That's fine. Oh, God. This is me just... Seriously? Oh, I thought I missed him again. It's gonna be a sad panda. Come on, guys. Throw that Molotov. Oh, you're still alive. Oh, come on. But yeah, I just feel like one wave of these guys would have been... One wave, then truck, would have been more than sufficient to, like, get the point across. Because it's not like your companions really do anything. So you shoot, like, I don't know what the number is, but you shoot, like, I don't know, 15 guys or something like that, 15, 20 guys. You shoot this guy, and then, you know, that's it. And there's no threat to you, so... Oh, yes, it would be, Elendil. Yeah. If you had the scope, yeah, for sure. Well, if you had inexhaustible ammo, too... Look, I can shoot this thing forever.
I'm okay.
Thanks,
It's the only time in the game, really, outside of the upside down fight at Bill's that you have inexhaustible ammo. But even at Bill's, your ammo usage impacts how much you have left over. This has no impact on anything. But,
We should move.
so yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I think the basic idea is fine. I just... a little fine-tuning. That's not my, you know, it's not the worst thing. It just seems like a chore. Another thing, too, is during this fight is when the infected come, you don't have to shoot them at all.
You sure?
I can, like, put my controller down and just wait.
Come on!
Let's move!
I've heard Ant say that if you do kill them, this part goes faster. I'll take his word for it. I haven't noticed a difference, but I also haven't clocked it. Yeah, unlimited ammo. Oh, was there? Okay. Yeah. How is that? I'm going to be really curious to see what they do in Last of Us 2, because part of me thinks it's just going to be a new set of maps, cleaned up graphics, and they'll add a horde mode and everything else will be the same. And that would make me really sad, but I could see that being the case because Naughty Dog's not really a multiplayer maker. But I mean, there's so many things I would love to see. I've told you before, I would love if all the multiplayer maps had infected. There would be some that would start at spawns and then periodically through the game, like say at minute 5, minute 10, that would spawn. And you'd have to have them spawn somewhat randomly. But I would love that. That would change the dynamic of what unfortunately tends to be a fairly static PvP. You know, so like instead of people like
just ready to get there.
Game playing your respawns or like whatever. Yeah, exactly. And it would add interesting strategies. Because let's say there's a bloater on half the maps. Wouldn't it be great to lure him into the other guys? Or use him as something they can't... Because you can't ignore a bloater. That's a kind of enemy that you just couldn't ignore. Same if they had stalkers on a map. You can't ignore them. Or even clickers. Like, they all force decisions. And I think for any game, adding decisions that players have to make is interesting. It also means your strategies are also different. Like, yeah, good luck with Covert if they stick some stalkers or clickers on the map, right? Oh, I'm creeping around. Oh, God, the stalker saw me. He's going to scream, now I'm noticed. You know, like, those kinds of things would add very interesting dynamics. And it also means the way you would deal with ammo is different, because you're like, well, I don't want to have to shoot the infected. I want to make the other guys shoot them, or I want to be able to, like... Well, I guess you couldn't choke them out, but like I melee them instead, so that I'm not wasting resources. Like all those decisions to me are really interesting, And that's what I'd like to see, but I have a feeling that might be too hard for them to do, so we might not see. But like that would be my ideal. I would turn on factions right now if that was the way it worked right now.
There's a hydroelectric
because
power plant.
and not only that, it would echo the I don't want to say the mythology, but the world state of the game. It would reflect things accurately.
Look, I know what it is. I don't know how it does.
So that's my dream. I don't think I'm going to get it. I think I'm just going to get a horde mode, but that would be really cool. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I know why it's not there originally, because they wanted the infected and hunters to be share the same space for the main game, but they didn't have the technology. They didn't have the technology, or like maybe that's the wrong way of putting it, but they couldn't make it work. And then by Left Behind, they could make it work, but by then, you know, it was obviously too late. And you're certainly not going to like redo a multiplayer for a game that's like a year or whatever it was old for that. But that would be really cool to me. My idea would be at the beginning, there's only ever one bloater, and he's there at the beginning of the match. And he would probably spawn in different locations somewhere in the middle of the map, away from your initial spawns. And once the bloater's gone, he's gone. And then you would have runners and clickers, or maybe just stalkers. I think that would be the mix you probably want. And there would be some that are like quote-unquote asleep, or maybe even just walking at the start. And then once you kill them all off, or you don't, there's a second spawn. Like, you could just have 1 second spawn, or you could have 2. Oh, come on, Ellie. There we go. And then, you know, they're there. And they would spawn at ways where they would affect both sides of the map, as opposed to just always being in the same spot. But it'd be in a way like where you would have a rough idea to predict, because I think that's fair to the teams. And then you work from that accordingly, and yeah, I think that would be really interesting. And yeah, that's the kind of thing I certainly hope for, and I think would be a lot of fun. Oh, she's finished. Oh yeah, I didn't point out. So I used to open that shiv door first, get the stuff and whatever. Now I go take Ellie over, so that by the time I'm finished, this is finished, and I can just walk across. But yeah, like I just think that would be kind of fun. And then it's a mix. It is PvP, but it has the element of a third party that causes you tactical issues, and I think that's cool. Like, or just say somebody wants to go sit in a sniper's nest shooting the hunting rifle all game. Well, if you might get a runner or a stalker who's going to spawn in that area,
past this place, then
you at least temporarily you have to stop what you're doing, because you have to deal. Even if killing him is fairly easy, you still have to stop, and that means there's an opportunity for the other team to break up whatever cover fire you've been given. And so yeah, everything about it just makes a lot of sense to me. But you know, I'm not Naughty Dog. I don't know what is or isn't technically feasible or easy to do, and I also don't know how much money they want to spend on this. So this is my thought was always that they accidentally created a great system for multiplayer, because the multiplayer is almost exactly what you do in the single player. There are differences, but the differences are really small. So you know, this wasn't designed for multiplayer; it just happens to work well in it. So yeah, that's kind of my multiplayer dream. But yeah, if I load up in Last of Us 2 and Factions is the same as it is now, I'd probably play it once or twice just for fun.
You guys have horses.
That would probably be it.
Hey, Tommy,
I have been told,
Sorry, I'll be right back.
and I have not tested it, but if you go over here and do the prompted dialogue with Ellie and pet the horse, that Maria moves slightly faster. And while I'm not specifically in a hurry or trying to rush things, Maria is like a glacier, so anything that makes her just a tiny bit faster makes me happy.
There.
Hey, thanks, Tommy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's just it. That's it. By the way, you can get into this fenced area, by the way. Over here, there's no reason to do it. You can just walk around in a circle, but it's really funny that you can. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. You know, when I first saw Elendil, I was like, oh, there must be a competitive scene for it. And it's like there really isn't. There's like there's FN League or whatever, but it's when I say there isn't one, I mean nobody's watching it, nobody's paying for it. It's just, you know, it doesn't really register. It's not really an esport. but it's like this could very easily be one if you had some sort of authority, you know, going through and vetting it and balancing it. Because I think because shooting games are really popular, and that's basically what it is. So like you could see the potential there. But yeah, just never enough effort put into it. Did you play the Uncharted multiplayer? I think I may have seen it, but if memory serves, the flavor of it is not like particularly, you know, I'm sure it's fun, but it doesn't really have the same sort of joie de vivre that this has. You don't have to go up here first, by the way, but on Grounded I generally do because the way you do the fight here, you kind of want to kill the guy down there ASAP, so get the stuff up there while there's no combat going on. Let me go down and have our dialogue with Tommy. You actually can do that after you talk to Tommy, but it's easier to get ahead of Tommy walking if you do it later.
We're back to Texas, back home. Most of our stuff is long gone.
Come on, Tommy. Look at this guy just chilling. A horde mode too could be fun too, but I always think that horde modes are ultimately not things that have a lot of staying power.
Sure? I mean,
I've said I'm good.
I could be wrong, but like they've always struck me as kind of repetitive. So
I'll hold on to it for you.
Tommy,
okay.
I need to talk to you.
Yeah. Well, you know what I did, Alendo? Like I'm kind of with you. Like,
yeah,
I don't mind Indiana Jones style games or movies or whatever, but I never really wanted to play them. So I basically watched a playthrough. So I played Zero Uncharted. I've just seen it played through, and I was like, oh, okay, that was kind of fun, and that was like enough for me right there. So I don't really like platformers, and it's got a lot of platforming. Yeah, well, that's my thing. That's the real thing for me. Like, there's no reason why some poor sucker should load up factions and be up against someone who's actually genuinely good. Like it just makes no sense at all. It's not fair to the new player. It doesn't teach the good player anything. You're not improving your skill. You're just fucking around for 10 minutes. It's a really, really poor design. And oh wait, give me that bottle.
You still got to deal with infected.
Yeah, and that's always irked me. I don't think so.
Maybe you don't have to be.
Yeah, because like that's something that really, and that's why I brought up StarCraft. I mean, there's lots of other things you can talk about: League of Legends, Overwatch, whatever. Name your esport, where players are slotted in leagues, and like there's none of that in this multiplayer. There's none of that like and I realize, I mean, you know, we both know you can fudge things so that you wind up in a league that you're too good for, but one of the things it does in general, it means when you load into the game, you're like, oh, okay, you know, whatever happens, at least I can feel like I'm up against people of, commensurate skill. That's kind of what you want. Here we go. And then, yeah, exactly. Then you feel like whatever happens in that game, you're like, well, I had a shot. You know, it wasn't about, oh, you know, this person is just so much better than I am. There's nothing I can do. Instead, sorry, I'm just contemplating what I want to do here. I don't think anything. Instead, you know, the way it is now, it's just completely random. And so every game is just like, you know, who the hell knows? And that drives me frickin' bananas. It's really poor design. And you know, well, whatever else Naughty Dog does, I'm sure they're aware that is incredibly poor design. So that's something I would like to change. Every time I do this fight, by the way, now, Alendal, I think of Brenda. Because I watched some of her Grounded playthrough. And she struggled with this one big time. And this is a tough fight on Grounded, it really is. But there's like a trick to it that makes it really simple. So there's a video I put up specifically for her. So she could get out of here. But yeah, it just, yeah, I would love to see leagues. You know, the player base is small, but like, split it up into like 4 or 5 groups. That's all you have to do.
All right, Joe.
See, I mean, that's the thing. It will function that way for some people, but for a lot of people, they don't learn anything because they just they die too quickly to people, And the strategies for dealing with those people only apply to people who are really good. So ultimately, you know, the strategies for things that they might never ever be good enough to deal with. Oh, I got the best RNG in the world there. Normally you have to brick or bottle a shotgun guy by the stairs. There's a light trick here. So all the guys have just died behind me, and I have my light on. When the light goes off, the door's gonna open. There's one other spot where that trick works that I can remember. Ooh, how did the guy survive? Okay, well, that didn't work. I was gonna say, that's not how it's supposed to be. Alright, unfortunately I have to give up on the best RNG ever. Do this again, but...
Don't let him into the building!
That throw should not... It killed one guy. So that's the worst RNG ever. Oh, this guy's not supposed to be there. He's literally not supposed to be there. Alright. I kind of figured that once I had the best RNG ever, I was going to get some better.
Stop him! Don't let him into the building!
The good thing about this strategy is, if it fails quickly, and you just do it again. Getting shot there is bad. Yeah, it really is. I didn't have my explosion expert on.
Don't let him into the building!
this sort of thing doesn't frustrate me, by the way. Like, it's pure RNG, so it's got nothing to do with, like, oh, I did it wrong. It's just, that's where he's supposed to be. He's in my way, which is bad, but ultimately not a big deal. I don't know if you saw the guy teleport in right next to me. It's funny. Brick. You gotta remember to pick up a brick. Alright. Okay, that worked. So when it works properly, that door will shut. I need to craft one of these.
Maria!
Going to, just in case. The other funny thing about this is all the stuff behind you is there. So I usually turn around, go back, and see if they dropped anything. They usually haven't, but sometimes they do. The only thing you're really losing is time. Ah, there we go. Worth it. Okay. I hate the 9mm in this, by the way. The Fiery Passion. It's a terrible gun. It's moderately better on grounded, but it's nothing like the multiplayer gun at all. The multiplayer gun's a good gun. I still don't have a brick. Give me a brick, son. Never play the single player without a brick. Bricks are so handy. Bricks would be the most OP thing ever, though, in the multiplayer if you had them. It really, really would be. Like, to be able to stun that easily and from a distance, oh. I mean, as fun as it would be, just completely overpowered. Do I need the revolver for anything? I don't think so. Look at this.
Watch my back!
That was mildly annoying. You get the magnetic pull here, as you can see. Where'd he go? So the RNG on these guys, if you do it right the first time, is very reliable. If you don't, it's a little more random. Oh, hi, Tommy. Where is he going? There we go. Okay. Not too worried about the last guy. Ooh, I can... Yeah, that's... Yeah, you don't get 3 Molotovs. Sorry, I was just reading it. You don't get 3 Molotovs at once. An imperfect world, I suppose. Main thing you don't want Tommy to do is block you in the door there. Oh. What guns do I want out? Oh, that's fine, that's fine. Okay.
You okay?
Yeah, three,
I'm fine.
3 Molotovs at a time would be interesting to say the least. If you restart here, it'll move you. It'll put you on the horse and move you a little further ahead. Saves a tiny bit of time. Yeah, yeah, there are a number of things in the single player that could not transition very well to the multiplayer and vice versa. The main thing the multiplayer has that annoys me, that has no real connection to how the game plays, is covert.
Like this.
The idea that for a few points you can be invisible on the map, to me, is insane. And I hope that's just gone when they put the... I don't think it will be, but I really hope it's gone. Because, yeah, like, in the single player, sure, I can crab walk here and there on enemies, but... You know, that dynamic is not... Like, I can't get to a point where I have, like, magical stealth, where I can just wander around. You know, it's... it's not like the hunters are blind, so... That bothers me as much as anything else. Like, I know there's a lot of other things to complain about, but that one irks me. Because I'm just like, why does anyone get to be invisible in the game? It's just kind of dumb. The multi-use shivs, I think, in multiplayer are kind of silly, too. Like, here they make sense, especially the way they constrict resources, but...
Whoa, 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 whoa!
Alright, I haven't done this ungrounded in a while,
How many you
so
see?
we'll see how it goes.
Too goddamn many.
Go around, I'll cover you.
Oh, fuck me. The bad tendency when I've been playing on lower difficulties is to, stand in front of, or like sit up in front of shots.
Here it comes!
Here it comes. Could have died there. Where's this guy on the roof? Might die right here too. We'll see. I shouldn't have got shot there. That was bad. Any shot will kill me right now, by the way. What? Okay. Oh, that's just the game being an asshole. Yeah. It's just bad design. All right. Do not get shot by this asshole. That is the goal. How was that not his head? I'm not sure if I killed him. Yeah, it looks like it. Oh, he's still alive. God damn it. Body shot. Well, didn't want him to still be alive. Oh, shit. Scared the crap out of me, to be honest with you. Did not want to use the El Diablo there, but better than dying. Guy should be here. Got him. Okay. That was not perfect. I didn't want to use that much LDL. Yeah, I know. On grounded, it's really weird the way the game registers your swings. So I had actually started a swing, and the game just decided that guy started his swing earlier, and I got killed. I don't know what causes that. I don't see it happen to Ant too often, so I'm sure there's probably some sort of way to mitigate that, but it is a little aggravating. No, these guys are pretty terrible about dropping anything. Not just a grounded thing. If, you know, I do this on easy, they won't drop very much. So, just double checking.
Come on.
No,
Back to the horses.
Don't really need a lot for the ranch house, though. Ideally, at the ranch house, you're using a Molotov, and that's it. The nice, I mean, there's not many areas where I get, like, even if I have something like that happen, I usually don't get frustrated unless the restart, like, the restart encounter is a really long one. Then I get annoyed. Like, if I'm doing the winter fight, and that gets fucked up by something weird like that, I'll be pissed off because it's a long fight. But for something like this, which is really short, it's not a big deal. You can, by the way, if you spam the sprint button, the horse will go faster. But try not to do that too much, because I have shitty wrists, that kind of stuff, like repetitive, like button tapping stuff. So one of the things, not the only thing, one of the things that makes me shitty at fractions is like I have a hard time either pressing buttons for long periods of time or spamming them. It causes pain, so I generally just sort of let the horse run.
That's our horse. She's got to be there.
Though admittedly, I still have to hold the goddamn sprint button. But, I don't know.
Area looks clear.
It's all about bounds of what does and doesn't work, or what's slightly less painful. But yeah, the last time I played was with Brenda and Skylar. Did we have anyone else with us? I don't remember. It was pretty ugly. Not for them, but for me. I hadn't played in months and months and months, and I was just like getting my head handed to me, and I was like, okay, I think I'm good for now. Now they've taken the healing glitch away too, so I'm like, oh man, the one thing I could do.
Ellie!
You know, on the one hand, I'm glad they fixed the glitch, right? Why have that glitch? But yeah, I was just like, shit, I can't shoot anything. So I take, you know, the problem I have is like I take too long to fire. You know, the good players, you know, they shoot really quickly. I don't do that yet. Oh, do you? Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, no, that's the thing. Well, I mean, I wish, because I know people who like they'll play that game and they'll get wrecked and they don't care, and it's like there's this little competitive thing in me where I'm like, oh man, I don't want to be terrible. It makes it harder to enjoy that way. Oh yeah, it's been that long, eh? 'Cause yeah, I pretty much retired, if you want to call it that, in October. I played one game since early October. That's it. And the guy coming up here can be a little bit fiddly. Depends when he turns, basically. What? Sometimes you'll grab the strangle button and the game just will not register. It drives me bananas.
Check down there.
Got him. That's all you have to do for this. Two strangles and a Molotov. But yeah, like it's just.
All right. House is clear.
I hit triangle to strangle him, and the game just was like, nah. You didn't do it the way we wanted you to.
Get
So
back to the
screw
horses.
you. I'm trying to think what I want for the infected. Bow maybe. Yeah, we'll see. I found a new strat for me in the university. I don't know if, I'll try to show it here. Yeah, you know, it's a funny thing. Like I have like about 1 billion factions games posted on YouTube from when I was playing, because August, September I played a ton. Often, you know, with roughly the same people, and it was fun. But like eventually, it was starting to get to me. It's just like the same irritating people over and over again. It's just like, oh man, why can't we just have a normal match? And it's just like the matchmaking the way it's designed. I think so, yeah, because I posted, I called them Factions Nostalgia videos. You were definitely in at least one of those. Those were videos that I had saved where I didn't do much, but the game was entertaining on some level. And I'm sure you were in one of them. I think it was on,
What kind of name is Callus anyway?
the Financial District map. Is that what it's called? I can't remember. But yeah, I think you're on that. Yeah, it's funny. There's like there's a few people where I didn't actually play with them a lot, but they were a lot of fun to play with. But you know, most people have lives, right? How much time do they really have to play factions? You can't sit there for 8 hours a day and grind out the multiplayer. Like Pike. I don't know if you played with Pike. You might have. Pike was a funny guy. He was a funny guy to play with, but he was only there like every once in a while as well. You know, a life to live. Yeah, well that's just it, like stress, like, Free Tree was getting super stressed about the game, and I was like, dude, don't torture yourself.
There was a lookout here.
It's like, if it's not fun to, take a break, and if you need a permanent break, take a permanent break, like there's other games to play, and like other ways to, socialize with buddies in that sort of context. 'Cause yeah, that was the thing for me, is it was just starting to be more stressful than it should have been. There we go. The best games were always. Oh, did you? Oh, there you go. Oh, wow. Yeah, exactly. If you're unemployed or underemployed, you know, why wouldn't you play
like
a ton? You know, it's like no reason not to. Alright, so I don't care about this gun at all. This one's not really relevant either, and same with the shotgun. I guess I'll upgrade to this. Usually when I play grounded, and I guess if I was really anal retentive, I would have figured this out. By the time I get to one of the last benches, I'm just like randomly upgrading shit. And there's probably a better way to do it that's more useful, but I've just never really figured it out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no time. Well, see, I do have time because I'm underemployed, but
That was fun.
it's pretty relaxing for me to just sit around, play the campaign, or play whatever, and you know, there's no stress, there's no pressure. I can stop whenever I feel like it. There are no idiots. You know, I'm not worried about some moron who's shivving, or like a comeback team, or some other irritant. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to worry about any of that nonsense. And the other thing too is, as great as it is to play with your buddies a game like this, if you do, you kind of feel like, well, I'm sort of locked in. I'm there to help them have fun and help them do well. So you don't want to be like, you know,
don't want him running off.
Start it off and then just break it off either. So yeah, it's
Someone jerry-rigged this thing.
I love how that dialogue is there no matter what. Shit, I've only done this a few times, and I should have the bow up. So this is not necessarily the most efficient way to do this, but I think it's cool that you can. So assuming I don't fuck it up. Oh, she saw me. Alright, cool. Well, we'll restart. Hi, ladies. Well, I was gonna restart. Oh, there's two left? Ah. If there was one left, I would have just punched her up, but alright. Okay, let's do this again.
Someone jerry-rigged this
I'm trying to remember to get the pills that are upstairs back there. So I'll just do it now so I don't forget. Yeah, I think, speaking about playing the multiplayer for a long time, the one factions stream that I highlighted, which I think was from August, it's pretty long. And that's kind of what I was doing for like a month. Maybe even, no, probably about 2 months. That's what I was doing. Come on, Chicky Poo, did you already come out? She may have already come out, damn it. Well, it's the price I pay for going to get those pills. Doesn't cost me anything other than some patience. Where's the other one? Oh, losing that arrow pisses me off. What are you gonna do? Really? Oh, okay, okay. Let's see. I didn't notice that from you, at least not me. But I mean, I think we only played maybe like a half dozen times, so obviously it's not like the largest sample of how things are going for you. For me, I mean, I would get upset. I tried not to rage too much if I was annoyed. For me, it was more of an accumulation too. Like, usually one annoying thing was not enough, but if a bunch of things happened in a row, it was just like, oh man, what are we even doing here? So yeah, it did depend. A lot of it, I think, depends on who you're playing with as well. You know, some people are good at reducing stress, other people not so much. So yeah, it does depend. Oh, okay. You got I'm at the mellow. Yeah. See, I normally never played multiplayer, so like I never tried it when I was young enough, I think, to like truly rage. So, in terms of like the cost benefit of doing what I did, I used 2 arrows, one of which I lost forever. I don't know if that's better. The usual way of doing it is you race up here, alert them all, and throw a Molotov. That's the usual strat. You know, whether what I did is better or not, you know, basically choose yourself. You could try to strangle out one of the ladies you shoot as well, but it's just another way of doing it. So I thought I'd show that off. The strat where you do the Molotov, it's not complicated. Run up and throw, and try to get them all with the throw. And if you don't, beat up the 1 or 2 that are left. Fairly straightforward. Oh, I don't think I grabbed the pills, so we're gonna go back up for pills.
That a fact.
Oh, I did. Okay. But yeah, I found like how, you know, upset or whatever I got depended as well on the people I was playing with. And
What about you?
oh yeah. Oh, you could totally do this on grounded. Yeah. It's
Well, when I was a kid, I
you
used
definitely
to wanna
can.
be,
It's an interesting challenge. You know, it's
a singer.
Shut up.
it's
No,
a lot of these fights are more about understanding
I don't
Joel.
AI positioning and behavior, basically. In terms of like straight out fights, there's really only a couple, and not that many you actually the game forces you to have. So yeah, it's an interesting sort of set of problems. So you definitely, I mean, the fact that I can do it tells you don't really have to be a great shot. That simplifies things, but that's not really what it's about. It's more just about figuring out the best strategies for how to do it.
Are those monkeys?
Yeah, a whole mess of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I think games like the multiplayer tend to attract players like that. You know, it's not just, obviously it's not just a factions thing. There are, you know, you see some of the worst sides of people, the, you know, immature sides of people in the multiplayer. No question about it. Which is so funny because the single player is like an incredibly emotional game, and while it has really interesting fighting mechanics, it's not really what it's about. And it's so funny that the multiplayer basically encourages the exact opposite in terms of what you do. It's kind of funny. Although, I mean, there's really no way for a multiplayer to replicate the emotional impact of the game. It is kind of a funny thing. Fortunately, like, generally speaking, the only time I played with people I wasn't super happy with was... I'm trying to think. You know, sometimes the good players act like dicks too. There was 1 or 2 people that Supreme played with that I wasn't a huge fan of. And it's another guy, I'm trying to remember where I ran across him. Might have been through Fraggedy Ann, I can't remember.
Hey, look.
Although he's played with other people I know. Also not a huge fan. But for the most part, you could just, like, not play with those people. So, you know, once you realize, you're just like, okay, I'm not going to play with those people and move on. Yeah, well, but that's okay, though. That's the kind of soul destruction that you want, though. You want a game where you're like, wow, you know, like, after the game is done, you're still thinking about the events, you're thinking about the story, and how it works. And that's why, like, you think about it, people will still watch in pretty large numbers first-time playthroughs of this game. You know, it's pretty crazy for a game that's fairly old. You know, people are really curious even now about it, and that's a great compliment to the writing. And of course, also, it's got to be somewhat intimidating for the writers as well. Yeah, yeah. I see. You know, again, I didn't really know them. It's just like I'd play with them, and I was like, don't want to see you again. And in some cases, young. Other cases, just stupid. Although I will admit, so I was never someone who watched a lot of. Yes, she does. Yeah, that's true. I never watched a lot of Sax Payne. You know, not a pro or con thing. It's just like I don't really care like what he does. I don't know. Watching him run around one burst people, he does it well, but I don't care. But for some random reason, a while ago, so I'm not moving. A while ago, I was on a stream just totally randomly, and happened to catch him having a verbal altercation with a friend of his who was upset because they'd 1v1, and Sax had crushed him in the nicest way possible, if you can think of that as a thing that's possible. And it was just one of those funny things where the oh shit, I don't think this is gonna work. No, it's not gonna work. I'm boned. Actually, I don't even want to do this. Sorry, I'm gonna do this my usual way. Just one of the funniest things I've seen, and it's just, I don't know. It's hard to describe, but basically the guy that Sax beat, I'm not gonna say his name, but the guy who Sax beat lost his shit, and his response to losing was to like just tell Sax how terrible a person he was and he was stupid and whatever. It was just so over the top. It's like a 2-year-old throwing a tantrum. And the entire time, oh, I'm so fucked right now. Alright. Man, I have not done this in a while. I'm trying to remember how I did this. Do I follow him? I think I follow this guy. Yeah, and it went on for like over an hour. It was absolutely hilarious. I kind of wish someone had saved it, except, you know, Sax's... No one in the real world would know who any of these people are, right? So they wouldn't necessarily appreciate it, but it was just absolutely hilarious. And the funniest thing was, after all that nonsense, those two still like play together and stuff, and I was like, what the fuck is going? It was so surreal. It was like I said, it was like watching a 2-year-old spaz out, and you know, his buddy trying to tell him to calm down. And, oh my god. It was something else. Never seen anything quite like it. I mind you, I don't get the whole like 1v1 me, bruh. It's just I don't know. It's like it's not a 1v1 game. It's a team game. So. Oh yeah. Exactly. Why would you want to do that? And the funny thing was, Sax actually tried to talk him out of it. So I'm sure he was well aware that he was going to win. And he basically let the guy win 2 games. It was really, really surreal and also just incredibly stupid. But I have to admit, I was kind of glad I saw it, because I was like, I didn't think this sort of thing would be real. Oh man, it cracked me up. That's a funny thing though. I think if you're like a well-adjusted human, sometimes you forget that the world is filled with people who are not well-adjusted humans. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess in a world where Trump got elected president, I shouldn't be shocked. But it's just like, I was just so blown away. But yeah, I'm with you though. I prefer not to play against friends in a game like that. I just think it's just like, what? I mean, you know, and I get it, for some people it's fine and whatever, but I'm just like, that's not what's fun for me. I want to play with my friends, not against my friends. Because like I don't need to test myself. I always had a very good idea of what I could or couldn't do. And so it's like there's no benefit for me doing it. I'm not learning anything. You know, the problems I have are related just purely to skill and reactions. There's nothing I can really do about them. Oh, yeah, it's tantrums. Yeah, that's the perfect word. And the thing is, like,
More infected, I'm fine.
I guess that the people who throw the tantrums, they're not self-aware enough to realize it makes them look like an idiot. It's like yelling and screaming and pounding against the wall. That's not... While it's going to vent some emotion, it's not going to make you feel... It's really not going to make you feel better, and it's certainly not going to make you look good. Like, you know, the best way to lose is to accept it. The second best way to deal with it is to lose and be like, oh, those guys had a bullshit, you know, fill in the blank, which may or may not be true, but you know, that's the next best way. But yeah, throwing a tantrum is just crazy. Yeah, I think the only time I played a private game in private games, this is like really early when I started playing the multiplayer, is Supreme convinced me to play in private matches with his friends, and like they were taking it. Supreme was like, well, let's do punches only or whatever, because he wasn't taking it seriously. But half the guys you were playing with, like it was game 7 of whatever sporting event. Like it was the final. It was, you know, the World Cup final match. Like this was going to define them as humans. And you're just like, I don't want to play with people who taking it too seriously.
There were fireflies?
Punches only I would have approved of. I was like, hey, let's put on Brawler 2 and run around like idiots. Like, that is the only way you play private matches.
Bill used them as a form
Give
of
yourself
defense,
silly
they're doing the
constraints
same.
and just do something stupid, and then you can just sort of laugh no matter what happens. But yeah, I just like, it was not pleasant. So I like jumped out of that pretty early, and I was like, yeah, I'm never doing that again. Yeah, exactly. And that was, so when he had suggested punches only, I was like, yeah, that is something that would be entertaining. Just run around and punch people. You know, do something weird, stupid that breaks the game. Like that's kind of fun. But yeah, but like competitive, which just seems to be what a lot of people do, the competitive stuff. It's just like, I don't get it. Like, it'd be one thing. Let's say you're practicing. Let's say there was a tournament structure attached to factions. And you're like, oh, I'm going to the tournament at like IEM whatever, or you know, whatever. Fill in the blank of your esports tournament. Sure, you know, go practice. That makes a lot of sense. But there's none of that here, so it's just a weird thing. All right. Next fight coming up is a doozy.
Are we ever gonna find living fireflies?
Oh, where'd you go?
We better. Well, scoot.
Yeah, exactly. Although the punching thing reminds me of the playing against comeback teams. Sometimes they'll just run forward to let you kill them. But I remember playing against one group where they just went punches only until it was down to like, I think they had about 6 lives left, something like that, and then they started trying. Although it did amuse me. So many of the comeback teams I played against, you could tell there was fear there because none of them ever went to 0 before they started trying. They're like, ooh, 0's risky. Better give ourselves a cushion. You know, the whole point of this is winning, not losing. And I always find that funny. It's like, okay, if you really think you're the boss, go down to 0 and then make the comeback. That, you know, like do it that way. But it's like, ooh, 0. I might not respawn if I run into a nail bomb. Ugh. I always found that funny and just like a sign of like some pretty deep-seated insecurity.
Let's look around.
Although admittedly, I would say like competitive video games are like the home for insecure people, and that's why they get so upset. It's like so much of their ego is tied into doing well in that you know they can't handle it if it doesn't go their way. Which again, what a contrast to the way this game is. You know. Playing this the first time, I'm not worried about like the cool stuff I'm gonna do as Joel. I'm like, oh my, you know, when are we ever gonna find the fireflies? And then Ellie will be the cure, and everything will be great. You know, before you know the trauma that's coming. Yeah. Oh yeah. They can. It's really. Oh my god, it's one of those things where, and you know, they want to do it. And this makes no sense, right? Because no one watches factions on YouTube. But basically, they're doing it so it's like, oh, I can put together a great video where I can show this amazing comeback, and it's like, how many lives were you at when you decided? You know, it's pretty funny. I think the weirdest thing I ever played against, and I only saw this once, was on the suburbs. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I was on the suburbs. I forget who I was playing with. I was playing with good players, so everyone but me. And the other... Jesus, I've been using my... So maximum health, by the way, lower difficulties. I don't touch this till the end. Because it's grounded, I like to buff it. And the crafting speed is so painfully slow. That's the next thing for me. The healing speed I don't really care about. You're not going to be healing in combat that much. But anyway, it was with good players. So on the suburbs. And the other team, they opened with Covert 3, Explosion 3. Won the first... I don't know if it was the first exchange or the first 2.
Fireflies!
Then they switched up to something... I don't remember what they switched to. But they completely switched what their build was. It was really crazy. It was like really annoying to play with, but in a way kind of clever. I wish I could remember what they switched to after that. But yeah, we got like, even with the good players, we lost, and it wasn't super close. And the people I was playing with were more upset than I was. I was just like, what is this? what is happening? So I'd never seen that before, but yeah, it was interesting to say the least. Again, though, I mean, you're talking about using two things that are, I think, generally agreed to be kind of broken in the game. Nothing there. You know, I assume they fixed this. One glitch I only ever saw used once in Factions was on the beach, where a guy managed to get himself wedged up onto the boat in an area that's supposed to be out of bounds.
That's good.
It was really bizarre. I don't know how much it helped him. It certainly surprised the hell out of me, but I'd never seen that before, so I guess kudos for that. But then again, I guess most players hate the beach, right? So you're not going to see a lot of stuff on there anyway. But that was a weird one. I should have recorded that Suburbs game, though. Just for how weird that was. I don't think I really did anything in that game, though, which is probably why I didn't save it.
Shit.
So if you're standing, by the way, you're kind of frozen when he goes shit, but you can just crab walk through it. So I got to think about what I want out for this nonsense. Oh, hello. Oh, by the way, Griffin, you would know this. I have a puppy. I didn't have one before last time I talked to you. Ooh, I have no revolver ammo. Well, that sucks. This is going to be interesting with just this assemblage of stuff. I don't want to use the rifle very much. I can avoid it. Yeah, okay, so you and me. I think Free Tree did too. You and me, like, most people seem to hate it. I don't know why the hate's there. For me, it's one of the only maps that has two distinctive parts to it. You have the hallway area, which is one sort of style of fighting. Oh, hi, buddy. Is that your toy? And then you have the beach area, and like how they operate is very different. And then there's the interaction of the two elements, and I always found that kind of interesting. But most people seem to absolutely hate it. Covert guys I know hate the sand, because you can hear them on the sand. But oh, okay, yeah, allergies. Well, I've had cats for a long time, and then my girlfriend really wanted a puppy, and it just sort of happened. Right, buddy? Hi. It's right next to me. You probably want to go outside, eh, bud? Yeah, he probably needs to go out. All right, bud. Well, we're gonna do this fight. It's winter, and then I'll. Wow, I don't know how I turned subtitles off. I really hit anything there. All right, the one nice thing about this is, no matter what the difficulty, Joel can chill right there.
We know where to go.
As long as you want. So if you have to move things for a dog, there we go. You can do it without worrying about it. yes, they do. Well, the cats were her idea too. Hi, buddy.
Where are you, motherfucker?
Yes, you're very cute. Oh, machete to the grill. Like, who runs at a guy with a club when he has a machete? This guy, apparently, but honestly. Alright. This is a weird fight. This can go sideways. I'm trying to think what I want to do. Normally, I go revolver 9mm to try to save on this stuff. I'm not sure that I really need to, though. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Oh, how are you not dead? That was a headshot. I gotta worry about What? No. Don't need to worry about the head with that.
Joel?
There's a guy with the shotgun. That's who I'm worried about. I don't know where he's at. The way the AI registers shots is different in Granted 2. Sometimes they will shoot before you see the animation for them to shoot, which is pretty aggravating. Can I get him with this? I just wish I knew where the shotgun guy was. It makes such a difference. See, he'll kill me in one shot. It's like a four-pointer. Oh, I wish I had a brick. Axing this guy is easy. Oh, there we go. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Nice. So I did take a fair amount of damage there, which sucks, but could be worse. So one sort of trick is, so there's 3 spawns to this fight. I'm avoiding going too far that way because it summons the next spawn immediately. Get some health there, although I'm still pretty badly hurt. So there's 3 guys coming. Just trying to think about how I want to deal with them. I think where I can see them is best. Okay, this guy has a melee weapon. I have to watch because I have some little health. One more. Okay, that didn't go too bad. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you as well. Exactly. It's not really about the winning or losing. It's about, having fun with people. The game design definitely, can impact that. But look at all the shotgun ammo it's giving. Let me tell you. You know how useful shotgun ammo is in Grounded at this stage? It's not useful at all. Fucking shotgun ammo. Okay, so I think that's all the goodies. You didn't drop anything right now. Alright, so 3 guys left to kill. I think the best way to do it. I have a lot of Molotovs. You know what? I'm going to use a health kit. I try not to normally, but I don't want to die here because it's kind of pointless. Well, I mean, dying in general would be pointless. Let's see if I can do this without taking too much damage. Whoa! Headshot! Oh, okay, apparently I did not heal enough. I must have taken a lot of damage from that one shot at the beginning. Am I already hurt? That could be why. Oh well. Alright, round 2. Come on, buddy. It's 2 shotgun shells that I don't really need. Might find a way to use them. We'll see.
Fucker.
Oh, yeah? Oh, weird. Okay. That's odd. Yeah, I'm like the one human left on the planet who does not have a phone, so... oh, you would know this, but the hitbox for the head is really weird in this game. Okay, 2 more guys. There's one there. Who's dead? What the fuck? Who survives a shotgun blast from point blank range? I mean, only in a video game. Oh, yeah? Yeah. I mean, I don't have strong opinions on them at all. It's just kind of funny. I kind of wish I had this. Brick the guy, then that. Let's see if these guys dropped anything. I would like a little more ammo than I have right now. Oh, that's helpful. The one-shot kill revolver in this is quite nice. You only get that on Grounded. Only on Grounded. Let's see, these guys drop anything too? There we go, shotgun. Yeah, that should do. Oh shit. I'm dead, I think. Guy with an axe behind me. I took a ton of damage there. Like a ton of damage doing that. The reason he was not where he was last time is because of where I moved up to. Alright. Ooh, the ammo drops are nice though, so I can see if I can survive this. Well, yes, that's a very good point. Game logic. Alright, let's just see. Okay, no, so I am full health. So yeah, that dude headshot me downstairs. That sucks. Alright, I think we're gonna have to go revolver then. I can't afford the delay between switching out. That's more like it. Let's drop. Wait. I want the axe.
Stay down.
The game gives you a little cheat there, like I can shoot around a corner, he can't shoot around. So. By the way, I posted this on my YouTube. You can get an explosion loop for Joel. You throw it at a bunch of nail bombs in the right spot, And when he falls down, not right here, but after Ellie comes down and the guys come through the door, he'll explode from the nail bombs. And then it'll restart there, and he'll explode from the nail bombs, and over and over and over and over. Oh, yeah, the stick. Yeah. I think is it a regular stick that does Ian too? I guess it is. Yeah. It is one of those really funny game mechanics where you have to, like, suspend your disbelief. I mean, I guess if there was like a grounded version of the multiplayer, I mean, you know, almost every shot, if it wouldn't kill you, would incapacitate you, which would make for very short multiplayer games. The guy running around with like the free gun is like, boom, oh, he shot me. Well, I guess I'm dead. Just like the waving of magic, you know, the jazz hands for healing would also make no sense either. Now, here's a funny thing in the game. So if I was on a lower difficulty, I could have Joel reload his revolver right now. I don't know why, but on Grounded, I cannot. Makes no sense to me at all. I have no idea why either is in this section, since Joel isn't really here to do anything. Come on, Ellie. I can't go through unless you do. Another funny thing I discovered is, you do not have to do anything for her to kill this guy. She's like, oh, distract him. You don't want to distract him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 2 arrows in your foot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. Frick.
Just stay here.
Yeah, Chris, if you're going bow, usually you have agility, often you have covert too, so it's an invisible bowman who can jump around and dodge bullets. There's another factions thing. You can dodge bullets.
Come on out.
Like, I wish I could dodge bullets. Oh, I'm doing nothing. Then she kills him anyway. I think in Grounded the hardest thing to do is to play as Ellie, by the way. The winter section coming up is the hardest thing to do, in my opinion. Help me up, Ellie.
You're not okay, Joel. Now, come on.
No, he's definitely not okay. Speaking of suspension of disbelief, as much as I want to credit Ellie's field dressing and whatnot, being impaled by a rusty rebar would kill you. That's okay, though. The story of this is so good, I'm willing to give it little things like that. Just like, you know, no matter how much of a badass Joel is, he couldn't go through and kill like 200-300 enemies and, you know, be fine on the other end. But sometimes you just gotta be like, it is a game and it makes the story more exciting.
Yes.
Then fucking walk.
I'm trying to walk, Ellie, honestly. Thump, 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 thump.
Come on.
I know, I actually saw this game played before I played it, if you can believe it. And I remember when I saw this section, I was sure Joel was dead for that brief moment where you don't know.
Behind you.
What?
Yeah, I know, I'm with you exactly, Elena. I saw it the first time and I was like, oh, I can't watch it now. I can't watch it again, because I'm just gonna want it. Because like, I get rarely excited about games. People always ask like, oh, you know, what are you excited about? There's very, very few games that I get really jazzed up for, but when I do, I have no patience. The same goes for like a movie or a show. If I really want to, you know, play it or watch it or whatever, I don't have any patience. So like, I go one of two ways. Either I like, if it's a movie or a show, usually I'll look to see information about it, not spoilers, but just like to get the gist, to make sure my excitement is, you know, validated. And then I just try to stay away, because, you know, you're like, oh man, I can't wait for this thing to come out. And then, you know, it might be months or years, so, you know, that would drive you insane. Video games, my main thing is, like, I don't, because I like story-based games, I don't want the story spoiled. I want to be teased, so that I'm like, ooh, this seems really interesting. I want to know what happens, but I don't want to know till I play it.
Come on.
Oh wow, okay.
All right.
Yeah, you know, I did not hear about it. It's really funny how I found out about this game. It's obviously it's years ago, but I used to be a big StarCraft fan. And I used to watch a streamer who did a lot of StarCraft content, and but occasionally he would play other games. And one of the other games he decided to play was this one. So his playthrough is what I saw of the game. And he happened to play this. I had never heard of it. I'd never heard of Naughty Dog. I think I'd heard of Uncharted, but like I didn't know anything about. Well, I shouldn't say I'd never heard of it, but like, basically I didn't really know anything about it, and I saw it and I was like, damn, this is like an amazing game.
There you are.
Missed. And yeah, and so then I got it because sometimes you watch a game and be like, wow, it was a neat story, but feel like no need to play it. And I was like, no man, I gotta play this game. This looks awesome, and of course, obviously it was. I wouldn't be playing it right now. But yeah, that's kind of how I found out about it. Because I play about one video game a year. And then how much I replay, it depends on the game. Because like for story games, this is a story game. For a lot of the games I tend to like are sort of RPG style. And so those are like big time commitments.
Got you.
And unlike this game, the one thing I like about this game is you can pop in, play a chapter or two, or just do a couple of different sequences, and then you can just go away, and like that's it. But if I'm gonna so I like Witcher 3. If I'm gonna play Witcher 3, it's not really a game I can pop into and just play for an hour. It's not really designed that way, you know. Like so, I can't just fuck around with it. Like if I'm playing it, I'm playing it. With this one, I can just sort of like mess around, and that's kind of fun. Because yeah, it's funny. Like I'm not a zombie game fan particularly. I'm not even a huge horror game fan either. I just really like the story. They did a really good job of properly envisioning what a world like this would look like, you know, within a reasonable way. Yeah, exactly. The start does it, and that is on the writing and the acting. They're both fantastic. That's the one thing I think Naughty Dog has been very good at is they pay the money to get good actors. People who can deliver a role in a way that's effective. So yeah, exactly. That opening. And you think about it, like, you spend so little time with Sarah, and she says so little, but they establish the connection in such a great way. And it's such a tragic death, right? Like, it seems so stupid and senseless. The game tells you, it's like, oh good, you know, Joel got away, it's all going to be fine, and then it's not, and you're like, wow. And that also informs why Joel is so bitter and angry. Is, you know, and you totally get that. So all of that plays into what comes next. And like on a meta level, you can kind of guess a lot of the things that happen in the story, but you tend to be, at least for me, I think I'm so caught up in the story. I don't spend a lot of time just sitting there like contemplating, like thinking I didn't think ahead and whatever. I was just sort of enjoying a ride. And yeah, that emotional connection is really hard to do. And I'm curious to see what they do for Last of Us 2 to make that. I think a lot of people, including myself, are like, oh, they're gonna kill Joel off. Seems like the logical thing to do to get that connection. Oh, that was really, really bad. Don't do that. Don't miss. Kill him. I think if I was Ant, I'd be restarting. Ant's obsessed with having 9 rifle bullets, which is the best way to do this fight.
You weren't kidding.
But you can do it with less. Just the odds of me dying are a lot higher now. In my opinion, by the way, this is the hardest fight in the game. There's like almost no room for error. Where's the clicker? Oh, what the? How did he get by me? That was weird. I didn't even see him run by. That's a first. Yeah, the emotional connection, exactly. We really just want the clicker here. Oh, really? No rifle ammo? You suck, game. Screw you, game. Oh, the clicker's coming and I have no rifle ammo. This could be the end, Elendil. This could be the end. I need David to wrestle with him or I'm dead. And there's runners getting us. I'm dead. Fuck. That's the thing, when you're short on rifle ammo, David is pretty much the only way you can deal with it. Fucking David. Because I have no bricks. And the only way to kill a clicker with the bow, it's a headshot. I could kill him with 2 arrows, but I don't want to use the ammo. So the first time I did this fight on grounded, it took me like 45 minutes an hour. It took forever.
Way to go, kid.
That was a good shot. Now, don't give me ammo. Fuck off.
You're in here.
Don't give me ammo. There you go. No! You gave me ammo. Freaking potato.
No! You weren't kidding. You're a better shot
This
than
guy
that thing than
dropped.
I am. Give me a hand.
Oh, I wanted him to drop ammo. Alright, well, 7. Yeah, exactly, yeah, the Ellie David scene is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. You get by me last time, you bastard. Yeah, that's I think the other thing, like the genius of the writing is all the secondary characters are well done, even if you spend very little time with them. You know, from Bill to Tess to whatever, like they're all interesting. Save the goddamn rifle bullet. Okay. I need effing ammo, Davey boy. Grab him. Good boy. Shit. Picked up a rifle bullet. The main thing here, by the way, sorry, I talk less because this is tense for me. The main thing here is to not lose too many arrows.
Screw it. We're getting out of
my grounded run through,
this way.
the first one I ever did, that I streamed, I went through the section, and when I was done, I think Ellie had maybe 2 or 3 arrows, not a lot, and that really causes problems later on. I took no damage. Definitely how you approach a section changes quite a bit depending on that. Actually didn't go as badly as I thought it could.
Great.
There's stuff in here on low difficulties, not here.
It's clear. This way.
I honestly think this is like the last hard part of the game on Grounded. The tunnel.
You don't need to worry about me.
I mean winter, by the way. Even after this is basically the hardest 2 fights that you do.
Come on.
The subway tunnel and the, it's not a subway tunnel, but the tunnel and the Firefly Lab are pretty simple, relatively speaking. There's a couple different ways to do it, but it's not. You don't need like great coordination or skills or whatever. It's really simple. There we go. I do miss some stuff doing it that way, but on Grounded, it's just the clickers are they're already in an alert state, so it's really dangerous to dick around there.
We're so close.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I have not had a game emotionally affect me like this. I don't know, ever, I don't think. There are the games I really enjoy and I think are incredibly well done. Like I mentioned, Witcher 3. It's a great story. Very engrossing game. You know, the various elements. Although I don't like the card game, but other than that, the various elements are all very interesting. But yeah, for emotional pull, like
You be quick.
this is great.
Keep a lookout.
I think Left Behind is a bit of it's slightly a weak sister. Parts of it are fantastic, other parts not so much. I wasn't particularly happy that they gave us Ellie's past. I was like, I think I would have rather just had maybe just done it in a different way. Not that I disliked Riley, I just didn't think as a story it was something that I specifically needed to see in that way. I don't hate it. It's just like when I play Left Behind, all I really do is I'll pick the. It has one of the best fights. But other than that, I don't do a lot of replay.
Here you go.
Oh, did you pay for it? Yeah. I got it for free when I bought the PS4. It was just included. Like Last of Us and Left Behind came for as a free combo. And I don't want to poo-poo it. I think the first time you play it, you're like, oh, okay, this is interesting. But in terms of replay value, so much of it is spent with Riley, and you're not really doing anything because you can't. Because what happens is preordained in a way that's less interesting than what happens than when she's with Joel. So
Yeah, no shit. Okay,
nothing in there on this difficulty, sadly. From there, from here, so much nothing.
jeez. Looks like someone already fought those
I've been
machines.
doing this fight in a pretty goofy way the last while when I've been playing on Easy Plus, so I'm gonna have to try to remember what I used to do on this difficulty. Yeah, I think it was bow, rifle, I think. Ah, I see. That's interesting. I guess that was the one benefit to me playing the game a bit late, is that all that stuff was just sort of packaged in. Headshot. I let him move forward, because if you let the bodies pile up in that corner, they tend to take a slightly different route, and that's not what we want. So this whole fight on Grounded is a lot of it's just like RNG, luck, whatever. None of my arrows broke though, that makes me happy. Like, look at the red that guy took. Come on, grab him. David can be a great help here, or he can be a pain in the ass. Come on, grab him. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Yep, fuck you, David.
Get ready.
That sucks, because that was actually going well. That's a problem. You never know if David's gonna grab them or not. And that arrow broke. Like, I know I'm not gonna have... I had such good luck with arrows, I'm not gonna get that again. Come on, give me the damn arrows. Ugh. Oh, you stupid thing. Like, look, I had 7 arrows there.
I know.
Effing David. Oh, I got 1 back. Still. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, did I say Bill? I'm hanging on to the brick this time. Oh, I still took the damage? Fuck me!
I'm okay.
Oh, fuck. I thought I was dead, which is why I stopped moving. God damn it. Alright. This is the first time I've been irritated. This is not, by the way, this is not actually a super difficult fight. I run into trouble because I'm trying to save resources, so I'm counting on David to do things, and then he won't, and then I miss. Oh my god. Oh. Can't, I hate it because I'm trying to save resources, and that's why I keep dying. Ugh. So annoying. So actually, this is exactly what happened to me the last time I did this on Grounded. Because I was really stubborn about resources, and so I kept dying. I was waiting for David to do shit, and that would happen, and I would get annoyed. I'm so hurt. I can't take any damage at all. Yeah. Set up right now. So
You hear that? They're on the roof.
I know.
assholes don't even drop close. Fuck you, Davey. Get out of the way. I'm not gonna do anything.
Behind you.
Behind me? We'll do something about it. Just say behind me. Come on. Look at him. He just lets him go. It's so aggravating. so hurt. I have no health though. Yeah, I need your help. What about me? What about my needs? Freaking pedo. Grab him, you loser. Alright.
Here come more.
How many of these things are there?
It's just one guy who comes through here. Look at that, 3 arrows. Sucks. Oh, I picked up another one. Okay. So all the other enemies, thankfully, are going to come from that way, which makes things slightly easier. Might die. Got him. Nice. Come on, Dave. Davey. Oh yeah, yes. Sorry, I just saw your comment. Yeah, absolutely, you can.
The bloater! What? One of those big fucking guys.
Dave, you're gonna get me killed, buddy.
Time.
Here goes the bloater. Oh shit. Okay, Dave killed that guy. There's one left. I don't know where he is. Right. Well, that was not the prettiest. But we'll take it. I'm so badly hurt though, she's gonna need to heal.
Like we killed all of
I
them?
think I get my health back. Not all of it, I get some health back.
I like disbelief.
The next time I'm hurt, like once we get through the next set of scenes, but I took a ton of damage. Only 4 arrows too, pisses me off. Just make sure there aren't any more hiding around here in amongst the clutter. I really hate the roll body thing in the single player. I hope that goes away in The Last of Us 2, but anyway. if the arrows were as in a short supply in the single player or in the multiplayer as in single player, no one would play a bow guy. You just don't get very many.
Alright. Let's head on back. Check on that buck of ours.
Alright. Come on, scene. There we go. Alright. I think, by the way, I'll just warn you, Lendl, I think after this segment here, I'll stop at least for a little while because the dog has to go out. Not fair to him to keep him in here forever while I'm fucking around. So just to warn you, I may come back after. Usually I take him out for about half an hour.
Hey, I got him!
Just to warn you. Yeah, there's something about his voice which you're just like, he seems kind of creepy, and indeed he is kind of creepy. But they're pretty clever in making him useful. Just like he's the most useful AI you get. Generally speaking, like he'll actually kill people. So that's clever on their part, even though he's obviously an antagonist. But yeah, there's a vibe to him which is pretty apparent, I think.
What do they want?
He makes a great villain, though. Like of the things of the people you face here, he's certainly the most creepy and horrible. And he's got so many dudes too. Like, you just look at the number of guys who attack you. It's a huge community. I like that they gave him a religious angle too. It's fantastic. It's like, yep, you want creepy, you want religious people. Oh, cool. Okay, yeah. Basically, I take him for like, I just like go out for like a power walk, which he's a small dog, so he has to jog. It's good for him, you know, wears him out.
Oh man.
And it's not as nasty outside here now, so it'll be it's a nice time of night to walk. I've been killed here on Grounded a couple times, so I get shot from behind me. Doesn't happen frequently, but it does happen. Alright, let's see, how do I do this? Oh, there's no health here on this, is there? Let's Sorry, I'm hesitating because it's been a while since I've done it on this difficulty.
He doesn't get to make that call. James told me it's the girl from the university. How many of our...
How did he see me? Honestly. Sometimes the game is just ridiculous. In a bad way. No way he saw me there. Oh, she's stuck on the damn thing. Yep.
He doesn't get to make that call. James told me it's the girl from the university. How many of our...
Yeah.
There. That's what's supposed to happen. He dies, this guy walks on oblivious. I love Ellie's language. It's great. She's so slow though, she doesn't benefit from any of your upgrades, so everything's just super tedious. This, by the way, is why running out of arrows is a giant pain in the ass.
Okay.
If you don't have arrows, there is another way to do this, but this is like the simplest way to do it, and it's just without it, it's such a pain. I hate them giving you 9mm here. What do I want a 9mm for? Like, it's such a shitty gun. In this, I mean, let's see. There's one arrow in here. Okay. I should be, barring some bad luck, I should be good now for this. Absolutely, yeah. It's she's a really great character. Very believable. You're like, yeah, I could see, you know, a girl this age has gone through these experiences. This seems like a way that she could be. That shot. I think I missed. Yep. That's actually okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you gonna stand there, bud? One dude left. I don't know where he went. Oh, I see him. There we go. Easy peasy. I don't need the bow for the next section, so using up the arrows there doesn't really matter. I'll collect them if they've got any. Or if I'm broke, I mean. Oh, shotgun ammo I don't need. 9mm ammo I don't need. There we go. She actually, she reminds me a little bit of a friend of mine. My friend's obviously a lot older, but just just some elements of her personality just remind me of her. It's funny.
I should get me out of here.
Although she's never finished this game, though. It freaks her out too much, which I think is kind of funny. She's not the kind of person I would think would get freaked out by something like this. But...
Oh, shit.
There we go. Yeah, when it comes to recommending video games, this is pretty much one of the only ones I do to like people generally. Be like, yeah, you should play or at least watch a playthrough. Or watch a story playthrough. Totally worth it. 'Cause it's very cinematic too, the way they did it. And the other thing I'll say is, as we do Floaty Ellie, the other thing I'll say for it is, the way they design their difficulties is very, very good. You know, there's a big difference between easy and ground and whatever. Although I will say, I think easy as Ellie is, comparatively speaking, pretty hard. It's one of the few places where I was like, I think they could have done maybe a little bit more to make it a bit easier for her, but minor complaint. I haven't done this in a while.
Cover the ground! Make sure she's not hiding somewhere over here.
Oh wow, yeah, I can see that. What the fuck? Did you see the pathing of the arrow?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I might die here. Ooh, almost. That was so funny. I think I can actually construct a health kit here.
I don't know, where's the way out?
On the grounded playthrough I did last summer, I got into big trouble here. I had no anything, and I kept dying. And so Pike happened to be watching and reminded me that there were some goodies and I might be able to make a Molotov. And that got me through. Otherwise, I was like totally screwed. the one place he can really use the shotgun is right here. She's so hurt, though. Good thing is these guys want to grab her, not shoot her. Oh, that's weird RNG. That guy shouldn't be there. Alright. Huzzah. Yeah, it's a really sad scene. Yeah, when Sarah dies. It's very, very well done. Like, there's nothing cheesy about it. Like, even though, like, if you wrote it out on paper, you're like, oh, of course, you know, here's our motivation for our protagonist. But the way it's done, it doesn't come across as something that's just sort of half-assed. Alright, we're going to skip this. And then we have Joel. Alright. I'm going to take a break. Alendo, my plan is to come back. At a guess, I'll probably be gone. I'll probably be back maybe about 45 minutes, so 9:30 my time. I'm just going to take the dog out, get a drink, whatnot. But yeah, my plan is to come back and to carry on. So yeah, if you're around, I will be around as well. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Always good to have you here. And I will catch you when I catch you.